viewers, welcome to your show, Love Parenting and Mental Health Therapy, with your counseling psychologist, Tosin Togun. Today, I bring greetings from my husband, Marital Togun, and I also want to say that the topic we are discussing today is very, very pertinent. And what is that? We are looking straight at conflict management skills in a marital relationship. These skills is a very important skills that everyone should have before even considering a marital relationship. Why? Because conflict is inevitable in a marital relationship, and if you don't know how to resolve conflict, that means you're going to, be tempted to walk out of your relationship or your marital engagement because you will feel probably something is wrong. Why nothing is actually wrong? You only need to know these skills, and by the time you are able to maximize it, then you discover that there is no persons that you cannot actually undo, even outside marriage. All right. So today, like I said, we are looking at positive ways of handling marital conflict. Okay, and let me also say this, to set the ball running, let me also say this, that conflict is inevitable in human relationship because of its end nature. Now, I'm going to explain this end nature to us so that we get what I mean. There are three end nature of conflict. Number one, conflict is normal. That is, it is not peculiar to anybody, to any race, to any gender, to any social status. It is not the matter of, oh, you are an African person, that's why you are always coming up with conflicts in this marital relationship. No, as in anybody at any point in time or at any stage of your marital relationship, there could be what? Conflict. So it's not gender biased, it's not racist, and neither does it have social class. It doesn't have any. All right. And also conflict is neutral. That is, it doesn't take any position. It's not defined until you define it. It is persons who are involved in that conflict that defines either if that conflict is going to be negative or positive. So conflict is in its own self does not take a definition on your relationship until you handle it the way you shouldn't handle it. And that's why we are actually looking at how to really handle conflict in a marital relationship today on the section. Yes, and lastly on that is that conflict is very, very natural, and I think I've said a lot about that. Lastly on that is the fact that conflict is very, very natural in a marital relationship. And how do I mean? Just as friction, when two objects are being against one another, there will always be friction. So also it is in human relationship. When two persons are coming together, when two persons are relating together, there will always be conflicts. Why? Because they are coming from different backgrounds, they have different exposures, they have different experiences, a number of things, different personalities, different way of viewing things, different perception, different body languages and all of that put together will actually make conflicts inevitable in a marital relationship. So how then can we resolve conflict in a positive way? That's why I'm here today on the show. I'll be right back.
Are you searching for professional counseling services appealing and available to individuals, schools, families, communities, corporate and religious organizations at an affordable rate? Look no further. Sure Up Counseling Clinic is a registered counseling firm and a recognized member of the Counseling Association of Nigeria. Sure Up Counseling Clinic offers services in the following categories: toddler and preschool development counseling, preteens and teens counseling, premarital counseling, marital counseling, parenting, rehabilitation and remedial counseling, corporate counseling. Other services include book sales, library services and training. We also offer home services for children and the aged. Likewise, we treat addiction and offer therapy for mental well-being. Sure Up Counseling Clinic is located at 99 Idito Bus Stop, adjacent Oluyolu Shasha O, Pulieleyele Road, Ibadan. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sure Up Counseling Clinic. For inquiry, visit our website www.shcounselingclinic.org.ng or call 0803 537 6009 or 0806 847 5755. Sure Up Counseling Clinic, living people better than we met them.
welcome back. I'm happy to still have you. Stay tuned to the show. So straight to the point, 6 positive ways of handling marital conflict is what we are looking at right away. Yeah, before we ride on, let me quickly establish the fact that conflict could be resolvable and irresolvable. How do I mean? Yeah, it's always good when you know if the conflict you are having with your partner is a resolvable conflict or if it is not a resolvable conflict. And how do I mean? Now, by resolvable conflict, I mean that the conflict you are having is superficial. It is, circumstantial. That is, there is something responsible for that particular conflict. And once that thing is taken care of, then that conflict becomes resolved. Okay, and there are unresolved conflicts, and this particular unresolved conflicts, the causes of that particular conflict is not situational. For instance, your partner is always coming late for dates, and you're like, this is getting at me and all of that. You have to really look at it. Okay, why is this person always coming late for dates? Is it that is it traffic? Is it that he or she closes late at work? Is it that the site of our meeting is very, very far, from where both of us stay, or where he stays, or where she stays? When you know all this, and luckily for you, probably one of them is a cause, then that is resolvable conflicts. That is, you can reschedule, your appointments. You can find something around the traffic. You can, you can restructure, re-strategize, and that way the problem is solved. But for instance, if your partner is coming late for dates, if your partner is coming late for dates because of the fact that he or she procrastinates, he or she, would not like to get to do things on time, or would like to do things when convenient. Do you understand? So that is talking about the personality of that particular person. So that conflict is unresolvable. It will always occur, it's perpetual. It's something you just have to live with and adjust to in that marital relationship, so that it does not continually, bring you backward or have a negative effect on your flow. You get what I mean? Okay, so let me now go to what we have for today. Okay, before we go into the subject of 6 positive ways of handling marital conflicts, let me also quickly talk about causes of marital conflict. One of it is insecurity, probably. One of it is insecurity, infidelity. It could be finance, okay? It could be anything. It could be third-person interference. It could be emotional gap. It could be a number of things. So, marital conflict is something that anything can pop it up, okay? So, let me also talk about wrong ways of handling conflicts in a marital relationship. I'll talk about 4, okay? Okay, number 1 is ignoring conflict. That is, you actually know there is a conflict between yourself and your spouse, but you ignore it because you feel that you don't want to pick up a fight with him or her, or you feel that you don't just want to handle it for one reason or the other. That's the very wrong way of handling conflict, because before you know it, if you keep piling it up, you keep ignoring it, then that conflict becomes it begins to pile up. And before you know it, it becomes like an invisible wall between yourself and your spouse. Before you know it, you can't reach one another. There is an emotional gap between the two of you, and that's why that method is very, very wrong. Another method is strangling approach. That is, just like a triangle. You are facing your partner in hot exchange, because and ignoring the base, that is the causes of that particular conflict, the issues that you are actually having. Rather than facing issue which is at the base, you're actually facing your partner. That's strangling. It's the wrong way to conflict resolution. And another one is playing blame game. That is, you don't want to accept responsibility for the conflict. You don't want to accept responsibility for your emotions. You just want to okay, this is happening, and my partner is the one responsible for everyone that happens there. That's not true. Like I described earlier on, I said something like, just as friction conflict is natural. Okay, so that way I'm actually, looking at friction. Friction cannot come up except there is what? A rubbing of two objects together. So meaning that two objects involved are the ones, constituting to that particular conflict. So that's why as we as in shop counseling clinic, you won't come that we should resolve your conflict and we will now begin to take side. No, because for that conflict to come up, then two of you must have play a critical role. Fine, it might not start from you in particular, but the truth is that you have one way or the other contributed to that particular conflict. So you can't say that your partner is solely responsible for that particular conflict. That is playing blame game. And the last one is competition. That is, you want to win over that particular conflict. You want to be the one to get the apology. That's a very wrong way approach to handling conflict. Like I said the other time, both of you have parts to play in that particular conflict. So it should be a win-win approach. That is, it should be that eventually you are able to hear your, eventually you are able to say what is triggering anger emotion in you, and the other person is also able to say what is triggering anger emotion in him or her. Both of you then coming together to actually compromise and find a way around that particular conflict. Having named all those foundations, let me now talk about 6 positive ways through which we can handle conflicts and eventually have a positive result. Number 1 is that you must first accept that there is a conflict situation. That's between me and this, my partner, there is conflict. You don't have to ignore it. You don't have to internalize the emotion. Like I said, when you do that, it builds invisible wall between the two of you. You are able to identify, with that particular conflict, that fine, we are conflicting, accepting that situation. Then next, when you are having done that, then it becomes easy for you to be able to, identify the source of that particular conflict. That's the second one. You are able to identify it. Is it third-party interference? It is offenses? Is it infidelity? Is it insecurity? Is it finance? Is it stress? Is it, you are able to actually pin down what exactly is causing that particular conflict. Then when you are able to get exactly what is causing that particular conflict, then you move on to the next one, which is talking about the issue, facing the issue now and not your partner. That is, you are able to come to the point whereby you can discuss with your partner exactly what is causing, as in what you are angry about. Like we did in anger management, you are able to identify your anger source. Then you are also able to identify the real issue that is causing that conflict. Then that is the issue you table and you discuss in a very assertive manner. And what do I mean by assertive manner? Assertive communication is a needed communication skill, that will help you to be able to talk about your hurts to your partner, without actually castigating him or her, or without actually tampering with his or her ego or with his or her personality. You are able to discuss that particular issue and not demeaning his or her personality. All right, and next to that is that you should be easily persuaded. That is, probably after you are able to talk to your partner about what exactly is triggering your anger emotion. Before there could be conflict in the marital relationship, then anger emotion is already in place. So you have to be able to discuss your anger source. Then after that, is also important that you come to a point where you can actually be easily persuaded, returning that relationship to what it used to be. Do you get it? As in, don't block him on social media. Don't block him or her on social media. Don't begin to create a war between yourself and himself. Don't begin to remove the pet name. Some of us, probably you call him or her Ademi, then you just change, just change the table. You don't need to do that. You get what I mean? Okay, so that is creating a wall. Instead, you create a bridge. That is, you still leave the communication gap open so that he or she can easily flow back to you if there is need. And there is also this that is important that I say, that conflict resolution starts with the offended, not with the offender. That is, you that you are offended in that particular relationship, you are the one that the resolution starts with. That is, you are the one to first call the offended and discuss, your how you feel about the situation. But don't forget your assertive communication skills so that you don't ruin everything in the process. Okay, and let me also, number 5 to that is that you should embrace forbearance. Forbearance is like advanced forgiveness, forgiving him or her ahead of time. And lastly is that embrace new wine. That is, know exactly, trust God for renewal, trust God for renewal. Let past be past. Believe God that your partner is a new, is a new creature. Even though, you felt, it just is a new creature before and he offended me. You also know that there is a process of growth. Do you understand? Even God himself identify with us, that we grow, that there is a process of growth. So give him or her allowances, allow new wine. Practice forbearance. In fact, if you cannot forgive, don't even bother to marry. Because the person that is going to offend you most in your entire life is that your love, love, love. Do you know why? Proximity, closeness, nearness. And I said the other time, when there is nearness, where there is proximity in any relationship, conflict is what? Inevitable. All right, I want to believe you really enjoyed this